Well, hey there, hi there, ho there, everybody. It's me, Pastor Mike, having technical difficulties. Well, I'm glad you're here with me this morning. It is time for your Let's Go Live. This is where me, the pastor of Oceanside First Presbyterian Church, offers you some encouragement to get your day going. Maybe to remind you to put on some pants, the powerful, magical power of pants. Today is the day. You got to make it happen. You're going to make it happen with me. I think you will. I think this is going to be a fantastic day, even if the technology that I'm using today apparently failed me. So I don't know what's going on. All I know is that since my computer broke, everything doesn't work the way I planned. But that's okay. That's okay, because that actually fits into what we're talking about today. We're talking about this thing called the power of the pivot. There's great power in learning how to pivot and when you need to pivot. And we're going to break that down a little bit. I'm going to tell you a little story from student ministry days and just kind of break it down, because this is the real deal. We're all still stuck, but we don't have to be stuck, right? We're all still trapped, but we don't have to be trapped. We're all still living in a world of a pandemic, but I'm not even talking about the coronavirus anymore. There's a different type of pandemic that we're stuck in, a worldwide kind of thing that we're stuck in. And so good morning, my loyal foil watchers. Good morning, Carol. Good morning, Linda. Good morning, Gail. Good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, crew. It's good to have you. Thank you for coming back after that technical glitch this morning. I also want to welcome the preschool, Oceanside First Presbyterian Church preschool family joining us this morning on today's Let's Go Live. I'm excited for this year at the preschool with you guys. It's going to be an amazing year. I hope you continue to come on back to the Let's Go, because I'm here to offer you some encouragement, some perspective. As a dad who's already gone through all this, and a mom, I'm not the mom, but Amy gives me advice for getting your kids through preschool. And I just look forward to this. This is going to be a great year. So let's talk about this idea of the pivot, the power of the pivot. Pivoting is this term that when you're a basketball player, it's when you get the ball and you can't go any further. You can only move on one foot. You have to bounce around on one foot, stays stuck, and the other foot bounces around it, pivots around it. So you still have 360 degree options, but you just have to leave one foot stuck. Now, here's what I think happens for most of us is once we get the ball, literally get the ball, and we're looking at the rim, we're looking at the basket, and we were driving down trying to make that shot, well, someone gets in our way and we get stuck, right? Once we get stopped, that's when we don't know what to do next, because we were supposed to shoot that basket. We were supposed to take the rock to the hole, right? We were supposed to do the thing and make the points, and everybody's supposed to cheer. But life doesn't always work that way now, does it? Sometimes in life you get stopped. Sometimes in life you get blocked. Sometimes in life things don't go according to plan. And you have to, I'm talking to you. You have to figure out, well, what do I do next? Because you can't just stand there and hold the ball. You can't just stand there and pivot in circles. You're going to have to make a move. And pivoting is what allows you to make the move. See, an amazing basketball player will pivot and get themselves in position to make the next shot, or will pivot and get themselves in position to pass the ball to someone else. They will do this incredible thing. And that's what makes them amazing players, that they're able to pivot well and to reach, well, to push their game to new heights. And so our job in the middle of all this right now is, we've tried all these different strategies, is we got to continue to pivot. You've got to continue to pivot. If what you've been doing has been working for you, and then suddenly it stops working for you, figure out if this is your time to pivot. Figure out if this is your time to change. Figure out if this is your time to try something different. Go someplace else. Listen to someone else. To try another technique. Pass the ball to someone else. This is that moment. This is your pandemic pivot moment. I want to give you a story that we use in student ministry all the time. We talk about this. We talk about this in terms of sin, but this also works in terms of our understanding our position right now. See, a lot of folks right now have settled into patterns. We've settled into, this is how we're going to do it. This is how I'm going to live it. This is how it's going to be. Don't change it for me, because this is it. I've managed to make a life out of what I'm doing for the last 6 months. Well, I want to tell you, if it's not much of a life, you might want to pivot. If it's not making you happy, you might want to pivot. If it's leaving you lonely, sad, and depressed, you might want to pivot. So here's the story. All three of you guys that are on with me this morning. Here's the story. It's called The Monkey's Trap. You would think that catching monkeys would be difficult, because they're agile, they're fast, they're fierce, they're strong, they're incredibly smart creatures. They're just too smart for their own good, like my dog, Penny, who will be barking in about 5 minutes. They're too smart for their own good. So when people are trying to catch monkeys, whether it's because they're poaching or because they are trying to do research, to figure out what's going on in the monkey population, they do something really odd, right? They do something really weird. They create what's called the monkey trap. And the monkey trap is really, really simple. What they'll do is they'll take a coconut, or like a coconut, and they'll clean the husk and they'll empty it out. And then what'll happen is, after they've hollowed out the center of the coconut, they've made sure that they've only left a hole that is small enough for the monkey to reach its hand through. Okay, the hole in the coconut is only small enough just for the monkey to reach its hand through. And what they do is they put candy inside the coconut. Now, for days prior to setting out this traps, the guys that are out there, they're throwing candy on the floor. They're just tossing candy on the jungle floor so the monkeys can recognize the candy, and they like the candy. They like the candy a lot. They come down, they eat it. And so then they set up these little coconuts, and the coconut is staked to the ground or staked to the tree. And so what happens is the monkey comes along, he finds the coconut, he finds the candy in the coconut, and he sticks his hand in there and he grabs it. And he's holding on to the candy that's inside. He's got an investment, right? He's invested in getting that candy. He wants that candy. But with his hand closed like this, he can't get his arm out. And so he's stuck. He's literally been blocked. The monkey does not know how to pivot. Because if the monkey was smart, he would let go, pull his hand out, grab the coconut, shake the coconut, and get the prize out, get the candy out. But what happens instead, and this is sad, this is a sad monkey story. What's sad is that the people that were coming to catch him catch the monkey just standing there. And the monkey doesn't even put up a fight. They actually leave the coconut on the monkey's hand, because that's just one less thing to worry about. And the monkey won't let go. It's a classic example of failing to pivot. And a lot of us are in that state right now. A lot of our friends and our family are in that state. We're stuck and we're trapped, and we don't want to let go of that one thing that we're holding on to, that one little sweet thing that we're holding on to. But maybe it's going to be better. Maybe it's going to be life-giving. Maybe. The story for you is, this is the pivot that brings you success and doesn't take you to being trapped. This is the moment for you to pivot and to make a giant change. That's gonna change everything. And so I want to encourage you to do the hardest thing, which is, right now, if you're not happy, if you're not satisfied, if you're not thrilled with the way things are, now is the time to pivot. Now is the time to let go of what you have in your hand, to figure out a better way to get it, to figure out a better way to sustain yourself through it. Because some of us are stuck in a trap. Some of us are thinking that if we just keep being locked in, locked down, locked up, locked away, that we're going to be able to survive this. And the cost of surviving this right now is high. So I want to make sure not only you survive this, but you thrive in this, and that none of us are trapped by the choices that we've made. And so, team, if you need to pivot today, or if you know someone that needs to pivot, pray for them. Okay, that's my first step in the pivoting process, is pray for them, right? Ask God to show them what they need to do next so that they might be able to do it well. The next thing, it is a poor, hungry monkey. But this is how it works, right? This is how it works, Tiffany. Sometimes we make choices and we hold on to those choices in such a way that it actually traps us. You and I, all of us here, have to realize that the choices that we make don't have to trap us. We can let go of a bad choice and step into a better choice, step into something that's going to give you life. You get to pivot. You get to receive the ball like the greatest basketball players in the whole wide world, and you get to pivot around to see what's going to happen, and then you make your move. Then you make your move. So, no, the goal here, Gail, is not to pray and eat candy. That is not the goal. It's the first step is to pray. The next step is in the pivoting strategy is to make a move, right? You can decide, okay, I'm going to stay here a little longer. That's a move. You can decide, I'm going to go the exact opposite direction I was going to go. That's a move. You can decide, all right, I don't want the candy that's in my hands so badly that I'm willing to die for it. Right? I don't want that so bad that I'm willing to die for it. And so you can let that go and go after something better. Yeah, there are better things out there than what we're holding on to. I think that sometimes we've bought into this idea that security is the best thing, and I don't know if. Let me rephrase that. If I'm a monkey, I don't want to be secure. I want to be free, and I don't want to be trapped. And so I want to learn how to pivot. And so I'm sharing this with you. I'm sharing this with our preschool families. Today's the day where you get to learn how to pivot. You get to learn how to pivot in your parenting strategies, because if what you're doing isn't working right now, don't keep doing the things that aren't working. You got to pivot. You got to pivot. You got to pivot. Erwin's taking a pivot, it looks like, to clear his head. Yeah. Erwin's a friend of mine back from LA, a student of mine, and you all know that back in our St. John's group, we've lost a really dear friend. I appreciate you all praying for us and for my friend Sue's family. And all of us are having to figure out how to pivot from what was our expectation, right? The expectation was old man Mike was going to die first, but that didn't happen. And so now we got to go mourn the loss of a friend. And mourning, as I'm thinking about this, is a pivot. It's a pivot. It's something we didn't expect to do. It's something we didn't want to do, but it's certainly something we need to do. And so as we step into this, as we step into the day, I got to invite you to examine your life and figure out what are the things that you're holding on to that you need to let go of. What are the things that you are invested in that are not paying off? What are the things that you are doing right now that aren't bringing you new life, better life, a hopeful life? And let them go. Yeah, let it go. And that way you can get out there with hands open and begin the process of pivoting into who you need to be next. And you can either receive the ball if it's going to be passed to you, or you can pass the ball to someone else. It's time, team. It is time to pivot. So I invite you today. It's the best day ever. It's the best. There's never going to be a better day than today to do this thing that we're talking about, living the best life possible. So I want you to remember the things we talk about every day. God's love for you is true. It is so true. You can't let it go. He won't let you go. It's an undeniable fact of our reality that God loves you. And you are created to pursue an authentic relationship with your Creator. You belong to Jesus Christ, and you define who you are by what He says. And you exist every day to demonstrate God's love to a broken world. Why do I say those things every stinking day that we're on here on the Let's Go? Is because those are such obvious and powerful truths that I believe that if you put those in your life, they change everything. They change everything. God's love for you is true. God designed you to be in relationship with Him. God paid the price for you, and God has a plan for you. You're called to demonstrate His love to a broken world. So now let's get out there, team. Let's get out there. The world needs you. It's time to go, folks. It's time to go. It's time. Look, the camera's getting farther away. It's time to go. Let's go. Let's go.